I started doing my own gel nails at home a couple of years ago, and this is how I do it. To start, I remove the old polish using this little drill and then also cotton pads with acetone. I just take one of the cotton pads and dip them in the acetone, apply it to the nail, and then I have these little clips that hold it in place. My husband helped me put some of these on my other hand, but sometimes I'll just have to do it one hand at a time. Once I get all these on, I let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes. Some of the polish should come off just with the cotton pad when you're taking it off, and then I use this little tool to gently scrape the rest of the polish off. If you're feeling any resistance, do not scrape harder and harder. Just re-soak it with acetone and scrape the polish off again. I linked a lot of these tools that I'm using in this video on my Amazon storefront. The link is in my bio. After the polish is off, I like to buff and trim my nails and file them into the shape that I want. After all the prep work is done, I like to clean up this area, and then I go wash my hands and use this little thing to wash under my nails. You might get something that looks like this. I like to use a thin, flexible file to get underneath the nail and clean up that area. Hopefully you can see right here the difference that it makes to just clean that up a little bit before you move on. Quick disclaimer, I'm a hairstylist. I'm not a nail tech. I would do a lot of research before you do gel polish because you can give yourself a gel allergy relatively easily. This is just what works for me. Personally, I would only use a reputable brand like C&D, OPI, or D&D. There are some really cheap gels out there with very questionable ingredients, and I wouldn't recommend them. I wear a little UV protection glove and dust my nails off before I get started. Starting with a base coat, I like to get as close as I can to the edges and just do a thin, smooth layer, and you'll see me kind of cap the top of my nail as well. I feel like this helps prevent any chipping. Something to note, if you get gel on your skin, you need to wipe it off before you cure it in the lamp. I like to cure for 90 seconds. I know that's probably overkill, but I never want to under-cure my nails. That's just my personal preference, but depending on what gel you use, it'll tell you how long to cure it. I'm applying my actual color. I'm just going to do one coat of this and cure it. You need to do thin coats. If you don't do thin coats, it kind of burns whenever you're curing it, so I'm just doing one thin coat of the bubble bath, and then I'm going to do my top coat. It's crucial that you cure the coat that you're on before you move to the next one. I recommend doing one hand start to finish before moving on to the next one. When you're done curing your top coat, you'll be left with an inhibition layer, which is like a tacky feeling, and you want to take some alcohol and wipe that off. When I'm done with this hand, I will move on to the other hand and do a base coat, cure that, and then do a coat of my bubble bath and cure that before I move on to my top coat. And then I will cure my top coat and be done. This UV lamp is also in my Amazon storefront. Whenever I'm done, I'm just going to use the alcohol to wipe my nails and then kind of file them to make sure they look perfect. I like to finish off this with the C&D Solar Oil for my cuticles. This is obviously a very basic manicure. You can do any color and you can add designs or whatever your heart desires. I just like a basic bubble bath gel nail.